Good Monday afternoon to you. This is the VELCO Weather Hazards Outlook. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, 802 Honda. They're all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. Looking at the GOES 16 new version here, some thunderstorm activity has occurred yesterday, overnight, and continues this morning in Vermont. Just stratiform rain, of course, and a couple areas of low pressure. Let's take a look at that. Here's our rain. It's circulating around this trough of lower pressure. It's closing off as a upper level low, and a lot of rainfall being pulled in. Good feed in from the tropics, and on this side of the weather system, we've had thunderstorms. On this side, of course, stratiform rains, and that's what's going to continue through Vermont. So no issues of any thunderstorm activity anyway. And you're looking at the surface low. I'm going to overlay temperature with that. And surface low over Lake Ontario currently, and another surface low off the coast. It's taking a lot of energy from some severe weather that occurred across the Middle Atlantic overnight through the Ohio Valley into the Middle Atlantic, into New York State, and is now pushing it off, and these are some leftover thunderstorms pushing out to sea. No issue for us. Looking at convective available potential energy and overlaying dew point temperatures, and you can see the temperatures in the dew points are in the 70s here. This is some pretty juicy air mass. Sort of being pulled into this weather system, but it's not going to affect Vermont. All good news there. This is the 6-hourly panels for the European, showing precipitation, pressure, and thickness values. The thickness values in the very small dots or dash red lines, and kind of gives you an idea just how cool it is. This would be cooler thicknesses and warmer thicknesses. It's a great tool for forecasting snow. However, we don't need any of that currently because we are looking at rain, and of course rain all day long today. And it can lingers into Tuesday. This is about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, so this is a 6-hour panel. With a 6-hour panel goes back into 2 o'clock in the morning on Monday. So moving just a little further ahead, not a lot of precipitation to show during the day tomorrow, so that's good news, but it will be quite misty and some spotty drizzle and relatively damp, but a lot of the precipitation does move out. Then by the time we get into about 8 o'clock on Wednesday morning, we're looking at an area of higher pressure build in. You can see it with the area of the isobars here, 1024, 1024. So high pressure moving in, and that'll be good. This is again in the morning hours on Wednesday, and then getting into the afternoon. We have this next frontal system. This is going to be Wednesday night now, about 72 hours out here, running it again. So it looks like Thursday afternoon, especially in the northern areas, and then it kind of falls apart. And then a caboose to this long frontal system, and this is being driven by a 1020 millibar area of higher pressure. This is a cool area of higher pressure, a dome, and it's fairly large and expansive. But we have that one last bit of precipitation working through on Friday. This is valid about 8 o'clock in the evening. That'd be 2 o'clock on Saturday morning. And look at what we have moving in, folks. Hallelujah. Take a look at that. That's an area of higher pressure. No precipitation. Storm track pushed south and then off to the north. Big bubble, no trouble. And again, we'll take it in through Sunday. And it looks like this will last into a portion of Monday before it becomes squeezed and then falls apart. Probably some very warm conditions working in over the top of this ridge of higher pressure for the end of next week or middle of next week. Here's the GFS ensemble, and this model shows again about 3/4 of an inch of rain or 6/10 of an inch of rain here. A lot of plumes showing that. A little bit of an uptick of some minor amounts here, so kind of get an idea. Yeah, we're back into the showers and thunderstorms here. This is along about Thursday and into the day on Friday. Doesn't indicate the dryness that that next area of higher pressure is going to push in to the region as we get into the late part of the period and just beyond. But this will start to clear on out. I'm pretty sure of that by all accounts, the way things are setting up right now. The Weather Prediction Center, 7-day total accumulated precipitation amounts. You can see about 1.5 inches here, 1.5 inches here, a little more around 2 inches off the coast and so forth. A little drier in the northern areas, and again, this is something we'll keep a close eye on. Okay, let's talk temperature. Well, we're looking at a pretty dismal day today. This is centered again on Burlington. Now we have a temperature forecast somewhere in the 60s tomorrow. A pretty cool night around 45, and some pretty good ensemble matches here. So it's probably going to be a pretty chilly night. This would be basically Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. And then a nice day on Wednesday with temperatures rebounding very nicely into the 75 to 80 degree realm. And then those minimum temperatures are elevated, and that means a little more juiced up moisture moving into the region, higher dew point temperatures, and so forth. And you can see the models having a little less accuracy going on here when you see several different plumes kind of get separated. But overall, we are looking at showery weather, showers and thunderstorms, and probably some pretty good rainfall before we get into this area of higher pressure, and then those temperatures begin to moderate. And take a look at that, 85 to 90 degrees by the end of July. I think it's after that area of higher pressure moves in and then pushes in a lot of warmth coming in from the upper Midwest and parts of Canada. High temperatures for the next 5 days, you can see running about 3 degrees, as much as 6 degrees below normal. A little neutral here, a little warmth sneaking in, but the overall trend in the lower 48 continues kind of cool, almost from coast to coast. A little bit of a warm up here, and this is eventually what's going to get into our neck of the woods, probably toward the end of this month. Not a lot of tropical cyclones have been noted here, but note in climatology, there's always a little minor uptick and then a fall off, and that indeed has kind of been the case. As we get into August, you might note here, August 1st, we start to see an increase in climatology. We'll see what develops. Nothing to see here, according to the National Hurricane Center, over the next 5 days. Okay, quick recap here on tropical cyclone development and what usually is expected for the National Tropical Atlantic Hurricane Basin. And typically this is the month of June, and usually things fire in the Gulf of Mexico, out in the southern Caribbean, and kind of work toward Florida. By the time we get into July, we have a little bit of that first indication of some storms coming in up the seaboard and sort of a tropical cyclone formation east of the Lesser Antilles. But we get into August, and this is where things get more interesting. Of course, we've had Hurricane Irene and so forth. A lot of this is just south of the Cape Verde Islands. These are called Cape Verde storms, and they max out as they get into the Caribbean, maybe a southern track into the Gulf of Mexico, or a more northerly track, and then making that recurvature along the eastern seaboard. Stay tuned. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.